So there's a problem a lot of us entrepreneurs face. And there's a funny story behind this video I'm making right now. And I found myself planning to talk to you guys about this problem. And I actually found myself facing the problem as I tried to film this video. And you can probably guess what this problem is. And it's the problem of being a perfectionist. I call it a problem because it does have a negative effect. And this story is a great evidence of that because I took about 20 to 25 minutes just to come up with the perfect introduction to this short video about how being a perfectionist is stunting your growth and stopping you from achieving your goals in 2025. So, believe it or not, this was not the top I was meant to wear. I took so many takes on an introduction of why being a perfectionist is bad. And I turned the camera off and I said, you know what? My head's just not in it today. I'll do it tomorrow. And I sat down and I started doing work. And I was like, but wait. No. How can I plan on making a video about how much of a negative effect being a perfectionist is and not even realize that I am being a perfectionist right now? So I took the camera back out. I pressed play and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna get this out there. So as you can guess, the problem is the problem of being a perfectionist. Before we get started, I want to give you guys a definition of what a perfectionist is, just in case you didn't know. So a perfectionist is a person who refuses to accept any standard short of perfection. So you might hear that and think, that's not a bad thing. And you're right, it's not a bad thing. But the evidence shows that it can have a negative effect on your growth. So, with that being said, I'm going to give you guys the 5 simple steps on how to break the perfectionism cycle. Step number 1 is to set short deadlines. It's quite simple. Set short deadlines. If you've got a task that you need to do, hopefully, this is a needle moving activity or a needle moving task, right? Set short deadlines, 1 to 2 hours max, in my opinion. Set short deadlines and say, okay, cool, set a timer. And then once the timer's up, that's it, done. Move on to the next task. It's quite simple. There's no ways around it. Be disciplined, be true to your word, set short deadlines. Step number 2, focus on 1 to 2 priorities at a time. There's so many things we want to do. We have so many ideas, especially when running a business. There's so much stuff running in our minds, right? But it's so important for you to identify 1 to 2 priorities. And these should be, in my opinion, money now priorities. Priorities that are going to generate you revenue now or in the near future, but mostly now. Those should be your priorities, and those are what you should set short deadlines on and begin the work now. Step number 3 is prototype and refine. In the startup world, there's something we do a lot, and that's to quickly create a prototype and get it out there, get it into the hands of the users who are going to use the product and then give us feedback. It is so important to cultivate this mindset because a prototype can be anything. It could be a sample landing page, it could be an ad creative, it could be a UI dashboard, it could be a product, a SaaS product. Get into the mindset of creating a prototype. And a prototype doesn't have to be perfect, it has to be good enough. And then get it into the hands of the users. The market would then give you feedback and then you can refine and iterate. So this takes us swiftly on to the next step, which I believe is the 4th step. And I mentioned it there, is to use good enough milestone. So use the milestone good enough. What do I mean by that? Set your targets to be good enough. make sure the product prototype is good enough. That's all you need. As long as it's good enough, as long as the product is good enough, as long as the ad creative is good enough, as long as the landing page, the product page is good enough, it is simply put good enough. Get it out there, because the market will dictate whether it's good enough or not, and whether people even want to use it, or whether you're going to get sales, or whether your product does indeed solve a problem. So cultivate this good enough mindset, have a good enough milestone, and move on. As long as it's good enough, get it out there, and then just move on to the next step. The last step, which is my personal favorite, is to celebrate your wins. This is something that I really struggle with even now, but in 2025, I have made a vow to myself to celebrate my wins much more often, and most importantly, celebrate my small wins. Celebrating small wins is so important from a subconscious standpoint, because it creates confidence, it creates momentum, and it helps you to build confidence as you move on, as you grow, as you start something, as you learn, as you go. So remember, guys, to celebrate small wins. It doesn't really matter what it is. For instance, one of the guys in the mastermind group hired his first VA, and we were on a call a few days ago, and he hired a new VA, and he just said it and brushed it off, and I was like, but wait a minute, you've hired someone. That's a huge milestone. It's a small win, but it's a huge milestone. You need to celebrate small wins. It is so important to celebrate small wins. I hope you found this video useful. As I said, this is a problem a lot of us face. It's a positive trait, but it can have a negative effect on your entrepreneurial journey whilst you build your business, whilst you try and achieve your goal, whatever that goal might be. So I hope you find this video useful. If you did, drop me a like, leave me a comment. Let me know if you resonate with this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.